humanity's story is etched in conflict. Every battle, every skirmish, every strategic masterstroke has carved its mark upon the world we know today. We will journey across continents and centuries, from the deserts of Kadesh, where chariots once thundered, to the muddy fields of Europe, where empires were won and lost. We'll explore the pivotal moments that shaped nations, the brilliant tactics that turned the tide, and the incredible sacrifices made on the front lines. This isn't just about dates and names, it's about the pulse of combat, the weight of command, and the human stories behind the greatest struggles in history. Welcome to Battles Through History. Subscribe now and prepare to witness the past come alive like never before. In the ancient world, empires rose and fell like the desert sun, but one name cast a shadow longer and darker than any other: Assyria. A civilization forged in the crucible of Mesopotamia, tempered by ambition and armed with iron and terror. By the 9th century BCE, the Neo-Assyrian Empire was a relentless war machine, a leviathan devouring everything in its path. From their heartland on the Tigris River, their armies marched with brutal efficiency, leaving a trail of conquered cities and subjugated peoples. Their goal was nothing short of total domination of the known world. At the helm of this juggernaut was King Shalmaneser III. His reign was defined by one thing: the annual campaign. Every spring, as the harvest was planted, the king would lead his legions out from the gates of Nineveh, not to explore, not to trade, but to conquer. His inscriptions, carved in stone for eternity, are a chilling testament to his methods: tribute, terror, and relentless expansion. He was a king who measured his success in plunder, in severed heads, and in the sheer geographic scale of his dominion. And in the year 853 BCE, his gaze fell upon the Levant, the rich and prosperous lands that are now modern-day Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Jordan. These lands were a patchwork of smaller, independent kingdoms, rich city-states like Damascus, powerful regional players like Israel, and coastal ports that controlled vital trade routes. To Shalmaneser, they were merely the next dominoes to fall, stepping stones on his path to the Mediterranean Sea and the riches of Egypt beyond. His army was a terrifying spectacle, a disciplined professional force armed with the latest military technology. Iron swords, towering siege engines, and a corps of elite chariots that could shatter any battle line. Against this tide of destruction, what hope did the fragmented kingdoms of the Levant have? Standing alone, they would be swept away, their kings executed, their people enslaved, and their cultures erased from history. The Assyrian storm was coming, and time was running out. But this time, something different happened. Faced with certain annihilation, the leaders of the Levant made a radical choice. Instead of fighting alone, instead of trying to appease the Assyrian beast with tribute, they chose to stand together. An idea, as revolutionary as it was desperate, began to spread from city to city, from court to court. The message was simple: unity or death. From the bustling streets of Damascus, its powerful king Hadadezer sent out emissaries. To the south, in the kingdom of Israel, King Ahab, a ruler of immense wealth and military might, listened. In the kingdom of Hamath, on the banks of the Orontes River, King Irhuleni prepared for the inevitable confrontation. And they were not alone. From the Phoenician coast to the Arabian desert, a grand alliance began to form. The Kirk monolith, a victory stele commissioned by Shalmaneser himself, ironically gives us the most detailed list of his enemies. It names 12 kings, a coalition of rivals and former enemies, now united by a common threat. This was a league of gentlemen, a band of brothers forged in the face of Assyrian aggression. They would make their stand at a strategic city on the Orontes River, a place that would be forever etched into the annals of military history, Qarqar. The Assyrian record meticulously lists the forces arrayed against them, intending to highlight the scale of Shalmaneser's supposed victory. But in doing so, it reveals the sheer, staggering power of the coalition. Hadadezer of Damascus brought 1,200 chariots, 1,200 cavalry, and 20,000 infantry. Irhulani of Hamath committed 700 chariots, 700 cavalry, and 10,000 infantry. And the list goes on. Soldiers from Egypt, from Quay, from Urkanata, Arwad, and Usanata. Even a contingent of 1,000 camels from Gindibu the Arab. This was no mere rabble. This was the largest, most diverse army the region had ever assembled. They were putting everything on the line. But within this impressive roster, one entry stands out, a detail that has fascinated historians for centuries. The monolith credits Ahabu the Israelite, or King Ahab of Israel, with contributing a staggering 2,000 chariots. Think about that for a moment. This single contribution was the largest chariot force in the entire Allied army, larger even than that of the coalition's leader, Hadadezer of Damascus. In fact, Ahab's chariot contingent was nearly as large as the entire chariot force of Shalmaneser himself. This isn't just a number on an ancient stone, it's a profound revelation about the state of the Israelite kingdom at the time. To field 2,000 chariots, an incredibly expensive and complex weapon system, required a thriving economy, a sophisticated bureaucracy, and immense industrial capacity. It speaks of a kingdom with extensive trade networks to acquire horses and raw materials, skilled artisans to build the chariots, and a professional military class to man them. This was the Israel of the Omride dynasty, a regional superpower in its own right. The image of a small, rustic kingdom is shattered by this single data point. Ahab's Israel was a wealthy, powerful, and technologically advanced state, capable of projecting military force on a scale that could rival the great empires of the age. His 2,000 chariots were not just for show. They were the elite armored fist of the coalition, ready to meet the Assyrian charge head-on. And so, the stage was set. On one side, the disciplined legions of Assyria, led by a king who had never known defeat, confident in their destiny to rule the world. On the other, the desperate, defiant, and unprecedented alliance of the 12 kings, their futures hanging in the balance. The fate of the entire Near East would be decided on the plains of Qarqar. The air grew heavy with anticipation. The ground itself seemed to tremble, bracing for the cataclysmic clash that was to come. The Battle of Qarqar was a maelstrom of bronze, iron, and blood. Tens of thousands of infantrymen crashed into each other in a brutal, grinding melee. The sky was darkened by clouds of arrows, and the air was filled with the thunder of thousands upon thousands of chariot wheels churning the earth. This was warfare on an epic scale, a collision of two worlds. The coalition fought with the desperation of men defending their homes, their families, their very existence. The Assyrians fought with the cold, practiced lethality of professional soldiers executing the will of their god-king. The chariot forces, the ancient equivalent of main battle tanks, would have been the decisive element. Imagine the chaos. Ahab's 2,000 chariots, a gleaming wall of wood and bronze, charging across the plain to meet the elite squadrons of Shalmaneser. The shock of their impact would have been apocalyptic. Wheels splintered, horses screamed, and men were thrown from their platforms to be trampled underfoot. This was a battle of attrition, a gruesome, bloody affair where victory would be measured in inches and paid for with thousands of lives. In the aftermath, Shalmaneser III did what every Assyrian king did. He declared a magnificent victory. On his Kirch monolith, he boasts of his triumph in grandiose terms. He claims to have slaughtered 14,000 of their soldiers, to have dyed the land red with their blood. He paints a gruesome picture of the Orontes River being choked with the corpses of his enemies, a dam of bodies. He declares that he destroyed, tore down, and burned with fire the city of Qarqar. To read his account is to read the story of a total, crushing, and absolute Assyrian victory. But here is where the story takes a fascinating turn. History is written by the victors, but sometimes the truth lies not in what is said, but in what is left unsaid, and more importantly, in what happens next. If Shalmaneser had truly won the decisive victory he claimed, what would have been his next move? The path would have been clear. He would have marched his army south, unopposed, and sacked the capital of the coalition leader, Damascus. He would have subjugated the rebellious kingdoms, installed puppet rulers, and extracted immense tribute. That is the Assyrian way. But that is not what happened. Instead of marching on Damascus, Shalmaneser III turned his massive army around and marched all the way back home to Nineveh. The Assyrian war machine, which had seemed unstoppable, retreated. And what's more, he did not return to campaign in this region for 4 long years. The borders of Damascus, of Israel, of Hamath remained intact. Their kings remained on their thrones. This is the silent, damning evidence that contradicts Shalmaneser's boastful inscription. You don't win one of the biggest battles of your reign and then simply go home. The reality is that the Battle of Qarqar was likely a strategic stalemate, but a stalemate that felt like a victory for the coalition. They had met the full force of the Assyrian Empire in open battle and had fought them to a standstill. They had achieved their primary objective. They halted the Assyrian advance. Qarqar was a testament to the power of unity. It proved that even the most terrifying empire of the age, the seemingly invincible Assyrian juggernaut, could be checked. It demonstrated that smaller states, when faced with an existential threat, could put aside their rivalries and forge an alliance strong enough to protect their sovereignty. The battle bought the kingdoms of the Levant precious time, years of continued independence, years to rebuild, rearm, and prepare for the next storm. The age of unbridled Assyrian expansion was, for a moment, put on hold. The Battle of Qarqar was the day the minnows stood together and halted the shark. It was a bloody draw that felt like a victory, a battle that shattered the myth of Assyrian invincibility and echoed through the halls of power for generations. Thank you so much for watching. The story of Qarqar is a powerful reminder that history is often more complex than the victory monuments let on. If you found this journey into the ancient world as fascinating as I did, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into the epic battles and forgotten stories of our past. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you for journeying with us through the echoes of history's most pivotal battlefields. We hope this exploration into the past has been as insightful for you as it was for us to create. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please show your support by hitting that like button. It truly helps us out. Share this video with any fellow history buffs you know. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, Battles Through History, for more epic tales. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we march into our next chapter. We love hearing from you, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep the spirit of exploration alive.